Assalamu alaikum, good morning everybody. It's a very good morning to have you today here. I am Dr. Mohammed Al-Shahrani, the country manager of Byte Plus, the enterprise arm of ByteDance Group. Maybe many of you knows TikTok as one of ByteDance maybe subsidiary, but however, we have various entities like CapCut, which is in Saudi today, is number 3 maybe for downloading. Lark, also very wonderful enterprise communication platform. Also, we have more apps and digital services we are providing to the community. Recently, ByteDance maybe launched MeLulu as one of the recent release of short drama apps as well by ByteDance for international markets. Today we will have this fireside chat with Arif Abid. It's nice to have you today here from MBC, the senior manager of technology at MBC Group. Actually, our talk it's continuing to our previous panel. What were they discussing? Maybe it's the first time I could comment in the previous panel. Actually, I agree that the AI capability, definitely, yes, it will not eliminate jobs, it will enhance jobs. My experience as a chief AI officer previously in PIF and the chief AI officer for Sky, the Saudi company for AI, from that field, I could comment that definitely AI will enhance the capabilities, the verticals they have, but its impact is much faster than maybe Ben Ross mentioned previously in the previous session. And one of them, maybe in ByteDance today, we have a new solution called AI enhanced tool that could just transforming your video from your previous archives to HD within $60 maybe for 1 hour. So AI is coming, definitely, the trend is coming, and we have one of the players today here in the market who's leading in media industry, MBC Group. So we will highlight on one vertical related to gaming, but definitely it's part of what we are discussing today. So welcome, Arif, after this long introduction.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Well, as we know that, the TV screens and OTT, they are moving from, as our previous panel discussed, and moving to a new era, definitely. And there are lots of opportunity, but also there are more challenges happening. MBC, many of the audience already, I guess, they already subscribe to Shahid, which is playing a major role, not your Shahid, by the way, his name Shahid. I don't know who's copy who by the name. Are they first or you are first? So MBC actually, they already work on very important sector, which is very close to our hearts, to Gen Z and Alpha generation also, which is Weezo app, where the courage of MBC Group to drive this sector in Saudi market and also in MENA region. So what are those challenges actually in this industry, for example, to take the step to invest in the new digital experience for gaming industry?
I think we've been in gaming for a while, and the reason that kind of got us to shift into the next step of entertainment, which was gaming, was a few realizations that came together. First of being, I think this is something that everyone speaks about constantly, which is the attention span reducing as we move forward with different generations. However, there's a key point that is often overlooked in this aspect. It's not that the attention span is getting smaller, it's that decisions are being taken faster of whether you want to continue to consume this content or shift to other pieces of content. So take this into account, first of all, the faster decision making of what content you want to consume. Second of all, we found a huge shift between millennials and Gen Z, whereby millennials would be able to consume content from 3 screens at once. So they're multi-screening, whereas Gen Z can now consume content from up to 5 screens and still be able to follow what's happening around them. And I think the third thing that we realized is that there is a certain shift from Gen Z towards content that is being produced at a quality that is more relevant to them. So when we put so much emphasis on making very high quality content, it is not appealing so much to the Gen Z because the Gen Z want to feel like they're part of the action. So they tend more towards things that were filmed on iPhones, things that they can feel like they could replicate at home. So I'm telling you all this because all of this aggregates into gaming. Relevance is about feeling as part of a community or feeling that you are relevant. So this is where gaming came in and said, okay, we can involve you in this. You can be actually an input. It's no longer a passive medium. It's more of an active medium. You get to put your own effort into the game. You get bragging rights, and you get to build a community. And that's what Weezo was able to capture very well over the past 5 years.
Oh, wonderful. So you already there are several trends. If we take the cross-platform cloud computing play a heavy role in gaming industry. We see today also the metaverse integration, the common, it's getting more popular. Roblox, for example, Decentraland, similar like games. So how did you catch up with this trend? Metaverse integration, cross-platforms. Xbox today, you could play from your different devices, So how MBC Weezo app, work on these trends, and to fulfill the demand of the local gamers?
Okay, so there are multiple points to this question.
Definitely, yeah.
A big part of it is community building, because community building when you get people together, the first thing they're going to be discussing are, the interests, being on the same platforms. Bragging rights is very big amongst Gen Z, so competition between them becomes on who could show has done better, whether on Roblox or on any other metaverse that they're able to produce. So if we start from there and we think about it from a perspective of, how can I expand this while keeping it a community? If you take it too mainstream, you will break it, okay? But if you keep it within that community and expand it by speaking their own language, that's how you can expand it. That's how you can grow it, okay? Of course, we rely very heavily on our technical partners, and I think that is key in expanding without breaking. And that's where a lot of partnerships, similar like the one we're working on, comes into play. So how can you expand in such a way where you keep the audience entertained, relevant, and you keep them feeling like you're not expanding into mainstream, you're expanding while taking care of them first?
Well, we are very happy and proud, and BytePlus actually ByteDance to collaborate with MBC in various initiatives, and one of them is MBC Weezo app. I hope it will be available for the audience, the new version, updated version. Maybe you cannot give a divine date today, but very soon in the future, the new version will be released with much features and more nice, seamless, immersive experience, and we are looking to it. So the building that kind of community, you are very strong in that. For many years, many decades, MBC already in the region. But also, how did you build the partnership with your partner? The game publishers, game distributors, the game designer studios. How did you also bring them on board? Because I see in the coming version with more varieties of offerings. How also did you, from technical perspective or product level, maybe you could highlight?
Okay, so I think what brings us all together starts with cultural relevance, because we cover a huge geography. We cover the Arab world, and it's not one place. You have different countries with different cultures, different backgrounds. So I think what we did super well was that we didn't say that we're going to build a game. We started with, we're going to build a game that's going to be relevant for the Saudi audience, or we're going to build a game that is relevant for the Egypt audience. And we were able to do that. We were able to reach top downloaded apps in each of these countries as games through capitalizing on, for example, on Egypt, it's always humor, because that's the language that Egyptians would speak, that's the language that would go viral. And I don't know if you remember recently when the airports were down, when the airport systems were down, people were referring to one of our apps, one of the games that we launched in Egypt, because their tickets were going back to physical stamping rather than digital stamping. So they're referencing a game that we built called Madame Afaf that goes back to a very traditional thing that they do, which is stamping tickets in the physical world rather than technical. So that's what I mean by cultural relevance. Now, we are mimicking this again by building games for Saudi Arabia, by capitalizing on the pride, the tradition, the Arabic warrior, the storytelling, all of that. And that's how we're building them together. So once you unify the mission of what you're trying to build, you can onboard very talented teams that share the same vision with you in order to release the best product to your audience.
Amazing. Well, let me just maybe I have maybe a couple of minutes. So regarding the live streaming, how did you believe in live streaming? I mean, uploading videos, you could play anywhere platforms, and also you could also upload those videos in Weezo app. Bringing live streaming, to the gaming community, well, definitely with reliable source, capability ByteDance have, but taking that initiatives, short videos, I mean, short game videos as well, all of that. What are the challenges might face, other players, and how did you overcome them, from technical perspective? I mean.
Okay, this is a very interesting case study, because in gaming generally, if you weigh very heavily on rewarding the players for playing a game, you end up attracting just the bounty hunters, just the people who log into the game to play to win the prize and then leave. What you capitalize on through streaming and through, I think this is a big part of our new partnership, how to have live streaming capabilities within the app very quickly, seamlessly, and all of that. What we're trying to capitalize on is, instead of recruiting the bounty hunters, recruiting the people who want the bragging rights. Because these are the people who would be the heaviest investors in the game, or in the time of the game, or in playing with certain showmanship that tells you they're invested in the game itself, rather than them being invested in a monetary reward that they will get out of it. Add to that, adding features like live chat when someone is playing a certain game, feeds back into the initial conversation that we were having of the community, because there are different ways, especially in open world games, there are different ways of completing certain mission, or in multiplayer games, there are very artistic ways of scoring points or getting the kill and all of that. So once you open that up, you start many conversations of, how did you do that? Or that was a really nice thing you did there. Or that kind of conversation that you start kind of shifts the whole thing from rewarding gameplay, which is, he comes, he collects his award and leaves, to creating conversations between the players.
Amazing. Last question for the SMEs, who's especially like game, designers, programmers. Is there any initiative we might see in the future for MBC Group to enable those SMEs in the Middle East region or Arab region also to import them in MBC Weezo? What we know today is very good, good games already on the app, but are there any initiatives to bring such SMEs, gaming studios, in the region, to elevate them through MBC Weezo app?
Absolutely. We're always working at finding the right talent to either bring into Saudi Arabia or to find established companies and kind of ask them to, give them enough incentives to relocate into the market of Saudi Arabia. So we're doing that on a global scale, where we would go to different places in the world and we will look for the top talent and we'll offer them enough marketing in the region through our Power being the biggest media group in the region. We would give them a taster of what it's like to launch in this part of the world. And through that, we're trying to attract as much talent as possible to bring it here and to train grassroots of people who graduated from the kingdom in a particular field to kind of trade them to adopt gaming as an actual business. Of course, you're faced with a lot of cultural parents coming in and saying, okay, do I want my kids to work in gaming or all of that? But we're getting over that very, very fast through a lot of programs that we're doing, whether here or whether regionally and even globally.
Even the time is finishing, but I just want to highlight one thing. Families today, they feel more safe. Their kids, using Weezo app.
Yeah.
As its regional app, it's has some, capabilities that, giving the parents that capability to make sure that their children, or young generation using Weezo. So thank you so much, Arif, for coming to Dubai for this event, to have chat with you and to share this experience.
Thank you.
As a Byte Plus, we are very happy to collaborate with NBC. We have various initiatives, whether maybe you announced our partnership between TikTok and NBC Group. However, there are lots of initiatives like in Weezo and more. I would like to thank our Byte Plus team who came from Singapore. I don't know if you could stand up, Lilong and Hasalain Jinani, if you can stand up, please, and any of the audience could approach them for any live streaming or any support regarding collaboration with ByteDance. We will be happy to have you here in the next edition. And thank you, Podcast Pro, for this setup.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arif.